Fazza was not made in comfort, he was carved in silence, in the golden vastness of the desert where the wind speaks only to those who listen and the sun tests only those who dare to stand beneath it. From a young age he understood something most people never realize, that strength is not loud, it is not something you show, it is something you carry, something that becomes a part of your identity so deeply that even in your quietest moments, it defines who you are, while others chased attention. Fazza chased discipline, while others waited for opportunities. Fazza built himself into someone who creates them. Every sunrise was not just a new day for him, it was a challenge, a promise, a silent battle between who he was yesterday and who he needed to become today, and he never allowed yesterday to win. He walked through life with a calm face but a storm inside, not a storm of chaos but a storm of determination, the kind that refuses to break no matter how strong the winds get. People often mistook his silence for ease, thinking his life was simple, that everything came naturally to him, but they never saw the early mornings when the world was asleep and he was already awake, training his body, sharpening his mind, preparing himself for battles no one else even knew existed, because for Fazza, strength was not just physical, it was mental, emotional, and spiritual. It was the ability to stay grounded when everything around you is trying to shake you. There were moments when the path was unclear, when the future looked uncertain, when even the strongest version of himself questioned how far he could go, but those were the moments that defined him the most, because instead of stepping back, he stepped forward. Instead of doubting his ability, he trusted his preparation. He understood that fear is not something to run from, it is something to face, to walk through, to conquer, and every time he did, he became a little stronger, a little sharper, a little more unbreakable. The desert became his teacher, its endless horizon reminding him that limits are often illusions, its harsh conditions teaching him resilience, its silence teaching him clarity. There were days when the heat was unbearable, when every step felt heavier than the last, but Fazza never stopped, because he knew that strength is built in those moments. Not when things are easy but when everything is telling you to quit and you choose to continue, and that choice, repeated again and again, became his identity. He did not seek validation, he did not need applause, his journey was not for the world to see, it was for himself to understand, to grow, to become, and that is what made him different. He was not competing with others, he was competing with his own limits, breaking them, rebuilding them, pushing further every single time, and in that process, he became someone the world could not ignore, not because he demanded attention but because his presence carried a weight that spoke louder than words. People started noticing, not because he tried to be seen, but because true strength cannot stay hidden forever. It shows in the way you walk, in the way you speak, in the way you handle pressure, in the way you rise after every fall. And Fazza had fallen many times, more than anyone could count, but what made him different was that he never stayed down. Every fall was a lesson, every failure was a step forward, every challenge was an opportunity to prove to himself that he was stronger than he was yesterday. He understood something powerful, that strength is not about never breaking, it is about rebuilding yourself every time you do, stronger, wiser, more focused, and that is exactly what he did, again and again, until it became second nature, until it became who he was, not something he tried to be, but something he simply was. There were people who doubted him, who questioned his path, who could not understand why he chose the harder road when the easier one was right there, but Fazza never explained himself, because he knew that not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Some people only see the results, not the sacrifices behind them, and he was okay with that, because his purpose was not to prove others wrong, it was to prove himself right. As time passed, his strength became more than just personal, it became something that inspired others, people who saw him and realized that they too could rise, that they too could push beyond their limits, that they too could become stronger than they ever imagined, and that was something Fazza never planned, but it was something he accepted with humility, because true strength is not just about lifting yourself, it is about lifting others along the way. He never lost his humility, never let success change him, because he knew that strength without character is nothing, and he had built both, carefully, patiently, with every decision he made, with every challenge he faced, with every moment he chose discipline over comfort, and that is what made him truly powerful, not just his abilities, but his mindset, his values, his unwavering commitment to becoming the best version of himself. Even in moments of victory, he remained grounded, always reminding himself that the journey is never over, that there is always another level, another challenge, another version of himself waiting to be discovered, and that mindset kept him moving forward, never settling, never becoming complacent, always striving for more, not out of greed but out of a deep desire to grow, to evolve, to become. The world around him changed, opportunities grew, responsibilities increased, but Fazza remained the same at his core, strong, focused, disciplined, because he understood that true strength is not something that changes with circumstances, it is something that remains constant, something that defines you no matter where you are or what you face. There were nights when he stood alone under the vast sky, looking at the stars, reflecting on his journey, not with pride but with gratitude, knowing that every struggle, every challenge, every moment of doubt had shaped him into who he was, and in those moments, he found peace, not because his journey was easy, but because it was meaningful, because it was real, because it was his. And as the years went by, one thing became clear to everyone who crossed his path: Fazza was not just strong, he was strength itself, not because he never struggled, but because he never stopped, not because he had everything figured out, but because he kept going even when he didn't, not because he was fearless, but because he faced his fears head-on, every single time. His story was not about perfection, it was about persistence, it was about showing up, day after day, even when it was hard, even when it was uncomfortable, even when no one was watching, because that is where true strength is built, in the unseen moments, in the silent battles, in the choices no one else knows about. And in the end, Fazza did not need a title, he did not need recognition, because his identity spoke for itself. In every step he took, in every challenge he conquered, in every life he touched, he proved something simple yet powerful, that strength is not something you claim, it is something you become, and once you do, it stays with you, forever, shaping your path, defining your journey, becoming your identity. Fazza was not just a man of strength, he was the definition of it. 100 points. This channel is all about poetic stories and emotional content inspired by Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Fazza, the Crown Prince of Dubai. Here, you will find deep poetry, love stories, and powerful lines reflecting his royal lifestyle, silent strength, and emotional side. Backhand index pointing right. Please like and share and subscribe my channel for more beautiful poetry and poems. Red heart. Thanks for watching my video.